Ivana, Katz, welcome back.
Mark, it's so good to see you again.
It's been a long time, Ivana, hasn't it?
It feels like it, but it's usually only about a week.
You've been tripping off and tripping the light fantastic with the rich and famous down there in Sydney. You've been on Ticker TV and everything in the last week, yeah?
Oh my gosh, I know. You know what? It's all about me stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I wouldn't otherwise feel comfortable doing. I mean, Ticker TV, it's kind of a big deal. I was nervous. Let me tell you, I was shaking in my boots.
You were shaking in your boots, were you? Why were you shaking in your
Yeah.
boots about talking about something you're very, very comfortable talking about?
I think because it was somebody that I hadn't spoken with before. And so I'm very comfortable talking to you now, but this host I'd never met. And so I kind of didn't know which way we were going to go. And, it's, being interviewed is not my natural thing. Talking
Right.
over coffee, yeah, that's a different thing. But yeah, so just trying out new things. But you know what? For me, it's always been about taking whatever opportunity comes your way. And that's what I've been trying to teach Jordan. So I can't say do as I say, not as I do. So the opportunity came up and I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Fantastic. So we're up to episode 10 in our journey today. And for people who haven't been watching us before now or listening to us before now, shame on you. Go back and check out all the other episodes and you will find out that Jordan is in fact Ivana's son. That's who Jordan is, in case you hadn't heard the name before. So lots to find out about Ivana's personal life. If you go back and listen to the other 9 episodes, you'll find out what she does in the weekends, where she goes, and some little bit of girly gossip as well, because she goes away with the girls every now and again. So this is just much more than a website design series, folks. This is Ivana's life up close and personal. So there you go.
Oh, goodness. I better watch what I say because this may come and haunt me one day.
It could well do. And what you just said about being interviewed by other people and that you're comfortable with me, it looks like I need to change it up a bit today and take you outside your comfort zone a bit more. So,
Oh my God, please no. I've been looking forward to this because this is now easy.
that's not what I want to hear anymore. Right. So episode 10, what are we going to be talking about today, Ivana?
So today we are talking about planning the content of the About page and the Contact Us page.
Important steps, yeah, these two?
Yeah, so those are, I think a few episodes ago we talked about the critical pages and we've covered what to include on a services page and a products page. And these are the next 2 pages that I feel are quite important to have on your website. So we'll cover that. But the first thing, I think what we're going to be doing is a review for Brent Robbins' author website.
We are
Is that
indeed,
right?
yeah. Let me put Brent's website up here. And if you haven't
Okay,
been following the
beautiful.
series so far, you'll know that, you'll know now because we're going to tell you that Ivana has been doing a fantastic kind of a mini review on people's websites and giving them just some quick feedback on how they could potentially improve their websites, given how important websites are these days. And each episode we've been doing a quick review on these websites. Ivana gives a few tips to the people and hopefully they listen and go and change them. Have you checked out any of the websites that we've given advice on, Ivana, or you've given advice on,
Well,
to see whether people have changed them?
No, I haven't. I should actually go back. I just take it that people do what I tell them to do. But I think I'm wrong. No,
There lies a challenge.
yeah, no, I mean, I think people like the reviews, but then whether they do something about it, I can't actually, you can only lead, what's the saying? You can only lead a horse to water.
You can only lead a horse to water, yes. That's
Yeah.
in fact
Oh.
the truth, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So consider me, so what am I, the horse or the water?
You're the horse.
Okay. No, I don't. Anyway. All right. So let's talk about Brent's website.
Yep.
So I like the fact that he created a book trailer video because usually it's only like video trailers for movies and other things. So I really like that because he was being creative. The other thing he has done well is he has an audio book chapter on the website, so people can listen to, for people that prefer to listen rather than read. So that's really well done.
Yep.
He has links to social networks, and he has some really good reviews on about the book. And finally, he has a blog, which a lot of people don't have. Unfortunately, that's a bit outdated. So if you're going to have a blog, make sure that you update it at least monthly, more frequently if you can, because Google loves fresh content. My suggestions for improvement for Brent, and as you can see, one of the main things is he's got his navigation at the top of the page, but rather than all the buttons being side by side, which is the norm these days, he's got them one below the other, and it takes up far too much real estate at the top of the page, or as we used to call it in newspapers, it was above fold. So I would rejig the navigation, and I'm not sure how Brent designed that website, but that would probably be one of the settings within the web software that he used.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not sure whether I don't think it's a WordPress website, or it's a poor, it's not a very good theme that he selected. So that's one of the key things. The design really needs a lot of work. There are far too many colors, different fonts, and different types, and it's just too heavy, and there are too many things competing for a person's attention. So I would simplify it, reduce the number of colors that he's using.
Yeah.
I would also prefer for him to have individual pages, because I think what he has is most of it is just one page that scrolls down, and it's just way too long. And finally, the website is heavily focused on Brent and selling the book rather than focusing on the customer. And I think this keeps coming up over and over for a lot of websites that we're reviewing. People make the website about themselves, which kind of makes sense because it's about their business, but really what we need to focus is on what we delivering to our customer. And so I think this is where Brent kind of needs to rewrite maybe some of the content. So those would be my tips for his website. And Brent, if you're watching this and if you've got any questions or you want to have a chat, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to go through it with you and explain things a little bit more.
This is another great example where somebody who, in Brent's case, probably, I haven't read his book yet, I probably should, is a fantastic author, but he shouldn't be taking up website design, right? So
yeah,
and well, it happens all the time, doesn't it? You know, people are in business and they think, okay, I can just rush together a website and everything will be good, and away I go.
Yeah. And I'm having this exact conversation with so many people. You are being judged, or your business is judged on your web design skills. So if you haven't been designing websites and you don't really know what goes into a successful website, you're going to be judged. So it doesn't matter whether you're fantastic at doing hair, doing makeup. If your design skills suck, people are just not going to follow through. And we're actually going to be talking, I think, in a few episodes about credibility of your website and your business. So we'll cover that in a little bit more detail.
Brilliant. Okay, good. Well, thank you for that. And I hope Brent takes some of those things on board, because at the end of the day, it's not too much to change to make it really look good, is it? So, if he puts a bit of work into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, I'm happy to take him through it if he was the one who designed it himself. If he had somebody else do it, maybe he needs to have a chat to them and show them this review.
So when you come across small businesses that are building websites, do you come across it quite often that, the business person's partner or friend of a friend has slapped together the website, on behalf of them? Yeah, right.
You know what people, I think oftentimes what they do is they think, well, I've got a 19, 20-year-old son, grandson, or whatever. They know about technology, so they can just put it together for me. But there's so much that goes into designing a website. It's not just about a few pretty pictures and a bit of content. There's so much other information that actually needs to go on the website, like credibility boosters and and the right images, which we've already talked about. And somebody who's just straight out of school, they may be really good with technology, but they don't understand the design concept. So unless they've studied maybe design at university, or they've done a business course, then it's probably best to leave it to the experts, because really this is the first place that people will see when they're accessing your business. So, and I say, I think we talked about this before. I've put together a document, 27 reasons why your website needs to be the center of your business universe. So don't rely on your social networks. Focus on making the best of your website.
Ivana's got some great free giveaways on her website, so you're going to be able to get all the details in the show notes today, so make sure you go over there. There's going to be a free downloadable as well for this particular episode, but check out Ivana's own website. I was also going to say, Ivana, if you're out there and you're a single man and you're in the you're in the dating scene at the moment, then why not try and date a website designer? Because if you had one of them as a partner and you're in your own business, then boom, you're going to kill two birds with one stone, aren't you? So what do you think of that advice, Ivana? Do you think that's good advice?
I think my mother would be very happy.
There you go. So, single men, if you've got a business and you're looking for a new girlfriend who's into web design, say no more, Mark. Say no more. Okay.
I've got all blush, haven't I?
I told you. Expect the unexpected today, Ivana. Expect the unexpected. Okay, so there we go, Brent. There's some good tips for you, mate. And I hope that your book's a huge success. And with Ivana's advice there, book's going to be even more of a success, because more people will come to your website and buy it and listen to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And congratulations on at least taking the step and putting it together, because I know it's daunting.
Yeah, true. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about today's subject.
So today's subject is what to put on your About Us and Contact Us pages. And I think we've covered this previously, where we talked about, even though it's About Us page, really any opportunity you can take to make the pages about your customers and how you're going to serve them, how you're going to help them, it's a great win. And Mark, you did something like that on your website, haven't you?
Yeah, we have.
You took the About page.
Yeah, we kind of flipped it on its head and decided to make it about you, because to us, our customer, our audience is center of everything that we do. So we wanted to make sure that they understood all the things that we're doing for them, and we're creating our business around our customer. So that's what we do. We have an About You page where it clearly illustrates all the different things, and we ask for our customers' input to that page as well. So we've got some interesting things coming down the tube on that.
Yeah, and that's great. So absolutely put some things about yourself, but if you can start it about how you're serving, who you're serving, that's a really good way to go about it. So some of the things to include on your About Us page, or just calling it about, is brief description of why you do what you do and who you do it for. So who is your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? And also maybe mention who it's not for. Because you want to be working with people with who you align in terms of how you work and what they need and things like that. So don't be afraid to say, these people might not be, I might not be able to serve these people. Make it creative and make it fun, because your About Us page, this is your opportunity to show your personality. And I saw a website that I really liked, and as I was doing a little bit of research to sort of about what people include on their pages, and they have our mission, our promise, our essence, and our vibe. And I really liked that. And it was all very short, straight to the point. It had nice graphics and everything like that. And I thought, okay, I get you, because we don't like to read too much. So if you can make it short and to the point. The other thing too, you can include a video. So a video of you talking or explaining, just so that people get a sense of who you are. Now, much will depend on the website that you have, or the business that you have. But for a lot of my coaches and consultants, clients, this is ideal because people get a sense of their energy and what they're about and whether they want to work with them. If it's a product-based website, probably not so important. But if you are working with somebody one-on-one, whether it be a coach, consultant, or even a service provider, having a video that allows your customers to connect to you, it's a good thing. The other things to include are qualifications. So if you're a doctor and you've got lots of, titles after your name, the MB, whatever. I don't know what they are because I don't have one. So qualifications, explaining them, if you've attended prestigious universities and that sort of thing, that's also good. Reviews and testimonials, and these can be testimonials about you and your staff, specifically about how they work, and if people have given you testimonials, include them, or you can link to review websites, again, where they are talking about more specifically about your services rather than products. You can tell a brief story about who you are and how you've come to do this business, but again, keep it really brief because we don't want to read. The other important things are business hours, which I see a lot of businesses don't include. Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to call you, they know what time they can call you and also where in the world you are, especially if it's a global business. And finally, I would include real photos. So not stock images, not images from Google Images, but real photos. So get a professional photographer. And I think we talked about, we've got Airtasker, and there's lots of great photographers, very affordable. For maybe $250, $300, you can book a photographer and they will spend an hour to maybe 2 hours taking a whole heap of photos that you can then use on social media, on your website. And you're going to stand out from the competition because everybody else is using stock images because they can't be bothered. And you know what? I often talk, when I talk to Jordan, who is now 19, I always say, do the one thing extra that nobody else is doing. And that's going to make you stand apart. So you don't have to do 10 different things, but just do one little thing. So if it means taking professional photos, that's the one thing that can set you apart from everybody else. So those would be my tips for the About Us page. And were you gonna?
Yeah, I've got a lot to say, but I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay.
No, carry on.
No, I'm done.
I wanted to give you, first of all, a title that you can put at the end of your email address and some letters, yes? So you should be WWDG. You should have that after your...
WWDG, what does that stand for?
Web Design Guru.
Oh, okay.
So
actually, I should.
You should. And that would be much more funnier than having a doctor's 3 letters after your name, yeah?
Yeah,
you can be
absolutely.
You could be the WDG, right? So
people would wonder what it is.
Of course they will.
I'm going to do it.
It's a brilliant idea. People will ask you, what is it? What is that? And you can tell them, right? Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to do it.
Okay, look, I want to go back to a few things that you said. In that bit of rhetoric there about what people should be looking out for on this About You page. I've come across this a lot lately in business and it annoys the hell out of me, and I'm going to share it right here, and that is people that have been in business for 20 or 30 years, they have a website, they hardly update it and make it relevant to their business today. I just rang a business the other day and the woman said to me, we've been in business 30 years, we don't have a problem getting business, right? So I can't stand this attitude, and if you have a website that's 30 years old, well, shame on you for a start, but make sure that your business talks about what you can actually do today, yeah? I've seen websites with black and white photographs on them, yeah? And it's not because they want to have aesthetics, yeah? It's because that's when they last put up some images on their photograph. And as Ivana said, be creative. Something I did the other day was... I live on a sailboat, I've got sailors all around me, and I threw my DSLR camera to one of the sailors the other day and said, when you go out racing today, can you take 200 or 300 photos for me from out on the beautiful bay and bring them back to me tonight because I want to use them on our website. And he came back happy as Larry later on to show me all these amazing photographs he took while he was out sailing with sunsets and dolphins and turtles and it cost me a lot less than $250, and it's a great way just to be creative to get fantastic images for your website, right? So think outside.
Brilliant.
Think outside the box, people. There's a lot of people out there that are doing things that will, if you put a camera in their hand, they'll take some amazing photographs for you. So there you go. That's a little bit
and you get a different perspective on things, because I think you mentioned having been in business for 20 or 30 years, we kind of have blinkers because we don't see things outside our sort of sphere, and we just get very comfortable with how we do business. So to see things from a different perspective, I think that's a brilliant idea. And have fun with it and delegate. We need to talk about the delegate thing.
Do we, Ivana? Do we? Okay.
Maybe after the show.
And one other thing that I want to pass on as well is that I've been very blessed in my life that I've worked in lots of different countries around the world. And one of the things that I see is that people in their business get very, very localized. They don't think too far outside of their neighborhood or even their city or even their state. And they just focus on their business there. Now, if you look at websites that have a global appeal, you'll see that a website that has a global appeal is really set up differently than a business that's just looking for business in their local area. Now, people might say, well, I run a hairdressing shop in my local area and I don't want someone from Japan looking at my website, right? Well, I've had lots of situations where someone from Japan has come to Australia for a holiday and they wanted a haircut, right? So think outside the box again when you're putting your website together. Is that we live in a world of 7.89 billion people. Those people all travel eventually again. They will travel again. And you never know where your next customer is going to come from. And I think, Ivana, you're going to talk today about how we're becoming more and more online because of COVID and everything that's happening. People are putting more effort into their website. So I'm really stressing to you all, think global when you put your website together, because you don't know where that next order of your products or services is going to come from.
That's very true, Mark. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's also a developer, and we were talking about restaurants and how many restaurants don't even have websites because they just don't see the value. They think exactly the way you described. But the problem is, yes, maybe you're in the western suburbs of Sydney and maybe I'm not your target audience initially, but maybe next month I might be going out there wanting to book, and if I can't even book online or I can't reach you, it's a problem for your business. And especially now, and I'll talk about sort of an experience that I had with a restaurant recently. Maybe we'll cover that next time just so that we can get through today's topic. But yeah, you have to be really careful about all the things that you put on the website. And yes, don't make it just about your local area, because you don't know where people are coming from.
Yeah.
They may not be coming from overseas at the moment, but they are coming from potentially different states, different cities, and things like that. So I think that's a really good point.
Well, at the moment, they could come from overseas virtually, and if you've got a product that can be shipped somewhere in the world, then are you missing out on sales because you're merely not catering for that global audience? And I was just speaking to someone the other day about a business they started recently, and they turned their website into having Chinese language capabilities as well, and they tripled their business in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Just by adding a new language to their website. So think of things like that as well, folks, because again, if you think local and you think small, that's what you will get.
Yeah, totally. Good
okay,
point, Mark.
Contact us page. What can we do there?
Okay, contact us page, and I think we've done some reviews of websites they don't even have a contact page, and that's a fundamental mistake. If people can't contact you easily,
here's one.
Yes. I think we'll be reviewing that one next week.
We will, yeah.
But yeah, it's true. Actually, they do have it says contact page, but when you actually go
click
to
on
the
it,
contact page,
it doesn't go through
there's
anywhere.
nothing there. So if you don't want people to contact you, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I think for most websites, you do want people to contact you. And so I think what you just putting on the screen at the moment, that's one of my clients' websites.
Yep.
And so you can see I practice what I preach. I don't just tell you to do it, I actually do it. And so for your contact page, you have to think again about your customer and how do they want to communicate with you. So it's fine to have a contact form, but the problem with a contact form is that oftentimes contact forms fail. And so you have to have other ways that people can contact you, and that may be via email. Include a telephone number, even if it's just a mobile number. If you have booking calendar, for example, capability, link to that so that people can book your time. Live chats are good if you are going to be answering people. Don't just put a live chat and then ignore it. Links to your social networks, if you can include a map. Again, business hours, and I would include business hours on both the about page or even in the footer of your website, as well as on the contact page, because those I see very rarely that people include their business hours. So that's a really good thing. And where possible, include an address or at least a location, because people might be contacting you from interstate, and if they're wanting to call you, they might not know what time zone you're in. So I understand for some people that work from home, they might not want to plaster their home address on the website, but at least the area, the state, the suburb, the postcode, whatever you can, and the country. Because a lot of websites have global domain names, so like the .com domain name, and they don't include where they are. So I don't know whether they're located in China, in the US, in Australia. And so, if I'm trying to call them, I won't know what sort of time zone. So ultimately, again, it is about your customer and how do they want to communicate with you. Don't make it about you and what's convenient for you. Make it easier for them. And I get that sometimes, and I know when Jordan was little and I kind of started in business at first, and we'd be spending a lot of time in the park, and so I kind of felt a little bit bad that I didn't include my phone number, but I had every other way for people to contact me, or that I couldn't answer the call straight away. But ultimately, if you don't answer the inquiry quickly, then you lose the customer even before you've had a chance to talk to them.
Yeah, now that you've got WDG on your business card, the phone's going to go mental, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, going, who is she? Who the hell does she think she is? I like it.
Okay, so here's the next one.
So this is I think the bottom of my client's website, and as you can see, we've put a map, so you can see exactly where he's located. You can also see that his business has got 5-star rating, and he's got quite a few reviews. So this guy is doing something really, really well. So, yeah.
I've got to say, I like these ideas of having a photograph of the shop front, because if you're physically going to a location, you're driving up and down the street, if you kind of remember, it's got red flags or something outside, just make sure the photograph is recent, right? So if you've done a paint job of your shop front, and and I say this for like restaurants and stuff, right? Because people often say, that's on such and such a street. You drive up and down looking for a certain colour of a restaurant or whatever, and here it is. You've got this red stuff sticking out. So it can be helpful, that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what happened probably about 2 years ago, we hired a house on Airbnb, and I thought, I want to see actually what it looks like on the street. And I went on to Google Maps, and there was nothing there. It was just an empty block. And so I didn't know, is this real? Was that a recent photo? Did they just knock it down and stuff? So I think we ended up booking somewhere else after seeing that. So yeah, people may go onto Google Earth to see and I do that sometimes. Do you? If you're driving somewhere before you go somewhere? No?
Google Earths are
Okay.
usually about 3 years out of date, right? So chances are
I
that
don't
property
think so. Oh,
chances are that property was already built and finished by the time you looked at it on
maybe
Google Earth.
no. And look, I don't know what sort of how old, but I would think. And the only reason I say that is because I've looked up our house on Google Earth, and I saw my son's car, and he had only purchased that few months prior. So I guess it depends on where in the world you are and how often they come around. But yeah, so if you have a real photo, it's much better, it's much more believable, and it makes your website and business look like it's real.
I'm going to take a shot this afternoon of the ocean outside, so people have no idea where I am at all, right?
Oh, the Google Earth and geolocations, they're pretty smart. They'll figure it out.
We'll see. Okay, so what's the biggest mistake people make on their Contact Us page?
Just including a contact form, and that's it, nothing else. And I've had early on in my career, I had a contact form, and thank God I had a phone email address as well. And I spent a lot of money advertising, and my contact form failed, and I missed out on a lot of business. So I would say, if you do have a contact form, and there's nothing wrong with having a contact form, but have other ways that people can contact you, and also check the contact form regularly, like maybe fortnightly, fill it out yourself and make sure that you're getting the results. The other thing too that I have noticed is that a few of my clients, their contact form is actually going into their junk folder. And unfortunately, there's not a lot that we can do for that. But because their spam filters might be set up in a particular way. So check your junk folder too if you've got a form set up, because you might be getting contacts from people, or people might be filling out your contact form, and it may just be going straight to the junk folder.
Okay, good. We have a question today, frequently asked question.
And the question is, where do I go help if I have a problem with my website? And the problem that I often get asked as a website designer, people think you on the computer, you know everything there is to know about everything. And I do. No, just kidding. So as a web designer, I know about designing websites. I don't know about networks. I don't know about mobile phone. I don't know everything there is to know about mobile technology. But people kind of lump you into sort of this block, and she knows, so they'll ask. So some of the things that I've had people contact me on, it's like, I can't see my website. And when I actually talk to them, their internet connection was down. So if that's the case, you have to contact your internet service provider. So your Telstra, your Optus, your Vodafone in Australia. I'm not sure who the overseas providers are. If your website is down, then possibly your web hosting company, or if you're working with a developer, your web developer might be able to help you. If your email is not working, this will depend on where your email and how it's set up. So if you've got Office 365, you might need to contact Microsoft. But if your email is linked to your website and it's kind of part of your hosting, then again, your hosting company. Website security issues. So if, for example, you find that one morning you wake up, as happened to me a couple of years ago, and you go to your website and it's been completely wiped, or somebody had put a picture of Steve Irwin on mine, my website got hacked, and so with security
that loves
issues,
nature.
Sorry.
Somebody that loves nature and animals, obviously.
Yeah, the pictures, they were not pretty. It was quite distressing, and so they were not good photos of Steve. And so if your website gets hacked, you'll need to get a security expert. In some cases, some high-tech developers may be able to help, but security issues are a whole different kettle of fish. And so you can Google them online, and I've had help from Upwork, freelancers on Upwork. They've been really good. and they've resolved a couple of my clients' issues in the past. So yeah, security you might not be able to get that resolved by your developer. If you are not ranking well in search engines, this would be, again, it depends on if you've worked with a website designer and part of the package or one of the things that you've paid them to optimize your website for search engines, then you would contact your web designer. But in my experiences, in most cases, it's specifically search engine optimization companies that look after that. And SEO is highly technical and highly time-consuming job. So I would not attempt to be doing it myself, and I would give it to somebody who does it every day, all day. So if you have employed an SEO company and you're not getting the results, and there are two things actually. First of all, driving traffic to your website, and it may be that that there is a lot of traffic going to your website, but that it's not converting, and so those are two different issues. So the fact that people are coming to you, you might be ranking really well, but if it's not converting, then you might have to rejig some things on your website. Website updates, again, this will depend on if you created the website yourself or if you've had somebody do it for you. And if you've had somebody to do it for you, your web designer can probably help you do the updates. Where I see a lot of people struggle, though, is once their website is done and they're handed the website over, the developer doesn't they disappear. And so a lot of clients or new clients contact me and they say, we've dealt with this guy for 6 months and now he's disappeared. I can't find him. Can you help me update the website? And look, most designers will tell you it's a lot harder to work with somebody else's work than it is to work with your own. So sometimes it's faster, easier, cheaper for me to redesign the website and then support you from then on. So even when you're looking for a web designer, make sure that you will get the support long term. Like if you're using WordPress, for example, and you're needing to upgrade the website because WordPress regularly releases new versions, again, your web developer should be able to handle that for you, or you can do it yourself. If your domain has expired, then your domain registrar, so your GoDaddy, Crazy Domains, Net Registry, or wherever you registered your domain name, oftentimes it'll also be the same company as your web hosting. And if you have a computer virus, don't contact your web developer. Contact a computer repair company. I mean, you can find there's a lot of those available online. So, yeah, those are the places you would go to get some help. And as you can see, there's so many different issues that go into actually designing and managing a website. So that's why I say it's not just a matter of taking a couple of pretty pictures and a bit of text. There's a lot of things that can potentially go wrong. And if you've designed the website yourself, you have to then go and find somebody who can help you resolve them. So get a web designer. I think it's a lot smarter and a lot faster to get you from point A to Z or A to B.
Absolutely. You mentioned messages there. You mentioned images there. We're going to be talking about that in our next episode, folks, on where you can source images. But before we head off today, Ivana is going to tell us about our homework. What do people need to do at the end of this episode, Ivana?
Is to come up with some creative ways and things that you can put on your About Us page. So maybe go through the checklist that we discussed of all the things that you can put on there and just pick the most appropriate for yours and then create your About Us and your Contact Us page.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we've rushed through and it's been a great one, Ivana. I think you've put people on track, and more importantly, we've got a new title for your email address that you're going to put on your business card and see what people say. If nothing else, it's going to be a funny talking point, isn't it?
Exactly. If I get contacted by Harvard wanting to know where did I get that title, I'll point back to you, Mark.
No need. I'm remaining humble under the radar, so that's very, very good. Listen, Ivana, thank you very much for that. And as we said, we're going to be talking about sourcing of images in the next episode next week. So come and join Ivana and I then, and we'll find out how Ivana's dating scene's been going and a whole lot more here on the Humanity Podcast series.
Oh my God, stop it.
See you next week, Ivana.
See you, Mark.
So there we are, Ivana talking to us today about Us page and a Contact Us page. Some very important tips there for you all to learn. I want to thank you very much for following the website design series here on the Humanity Podcast series. If you've been following the journey along and you want to let us know how you're going with your website, please do that. Ivana's and I are both very keen to find out how people are going with their website building based on the information that Ivana's been giving you. And don't forget to check us out on social media as well. All the details of today's show will be in the show notes, so the links to all the different descriptions, as well as a free downloadable and an email address for Ivana if you want to give her a shout out. So there we go. Until next time here on the Humanity Podcast series, thanks very much for joining us. My name's Mark Philpott. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you all again.